Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our bets and your bets is going to be another profitable day for you. Saturday, college football week 5. We gave you the Thursday and Friday bets in an earlier episode. Army was an absolute monster for us on Thursday. It was one of our favorite plays actually all weekend long. Miami, if you were there, I know the lines moved a bunch, but we were on Miami when it was at 17. We'll give you the Saturday plays coming up. We've got a ton to get through, so let's get going on them here. So, 9 o'clock out here in Phoenix, noon Eastern time, Minnesota, Michigan. We do not have anything in this game currently. Total's also at 35.5. But we do like Michigan, or the under actually in this one. The line has moved quite a bit, but we'd still look at the under in that game there, as I don't expect neither team to really be able to move the ball too much. Also 9 here, noon out east, Ole Miss, Kentucky. This line has actually came down. We liked it at 17, let alone at 15.5 at some books now. In this one, Ole Miss offense, fantastic. Kentucky offense, not so much. Ole Miss's defense and at home, I think Kentucky's getting a lot of love in this particular game here, for a few different reasons. They're getting some love for a few different reasons in this one. Main reason is the defense that they played against Georgia. There is a big difference, though, between Ole Miss's offense and Georgia's offense. Ole Miss's offense is for real. They are one of the best ones in the country. So we did take Ole Miss minus 6.5 first quarter, 9.5 first half, 17.5 for the game. You can get it at 15.5 now on DraftKings. Maybe even better in some other spots, so make sure you take advantage there. Also, noon Eastern time, BYU Baylor. Another game we're all over. BYU on the road. They have played, oh my God, so freaking good in the Big 12. Not to be expected from BYU, but they are playing fantastic. Total of 47. The line's currently at 3. And I don't know why Baylor's getting the love here, because we're all over BYU. The Army game moved as well, and it was moved the wrong way. I think the line's moving the wrong way this. We took BYU plus the 2.5, loved it there. Now you can get it at 3, take it even more. BYU plus a half in the first quarter, plus 2.5 first half, and plus 2.5 for the game. All right, next game up. Nebraska-Purdue. Purdue is god-awful. Let's just separate this one. This game also noon Eastern time. Nebraska did not play really well against Illinois. Defense didn't hold up like they would hoped, and Raiola showed a few chinks in the armor. He's a freshman quarterback, folks. He played well enough for them to win if the defense holds up and does their job. Unfortunately, it didn't. We don't like the line at 10 there. Nebraska being on the road, total of 48. We stayed away. Slight lean would be towards Nebraska, though. As like I said, Purdue is god-awful. So, in that one there. Next game up, noon Eastern as well. Oklahoma State, Kansas State. So, Oklahoma State played pretty well against the Utah Utes. Kansas State got their rear end handed to them against BYU, in BYU. Now, I understand the game was in Provo on a Friday night, which is a tough place to play. Kansas State's not an easy place to play either. But Oklahoma State should be able to run the ball more efficiently than they did against Utah. Utah's lines, by the way, offensive and defensive line, are just crazy. They're one of the best in the country on both sides of the ball there. Kansas State, obviously Avery Johnson's fantastic, but there is something left to be desired with the rest of the ball club. We love Oklahoma State in this spot. Let's give you all the plays we've got there. Okie State plus 3 first quarter, plus 3.5 first half, and plus 5.5 for the game. Next game up, Western Kentucky, also the noon time frame, sorry. Western Kentucky, Boston. Boy, I got the sneezes going on today, huh? Boston College, Western Kentucky. BC favored by 13. Western Kentucky's not a bad overall club. They shouldn't be close to a Power 5 team. Boston College has played pretty well so far. They did not cover the last week. I think 13 might be a big number there. Total at 54.5. We don't have a play here, but if we did, it would actually be to the over in this particular matchup, over the 54.5. Another noon Eastern game, Maryland and Indiana. Indiana at home. If you haven't seen the Indiana offense so far this season, wow, they've been really good. Maryland has struggled sometimes out of the gate, but has, played well enough. Indiana favored by a touchdown, but we like Indiana to jump out early and keep it down. The line has moved from 6.5. Some books at 7, but Indiana minus 1.5 for the first quarter, -4 in the first half, and -6.5 for the game. Next game up, Northern Illinois, NC State. Grayson McCall probably going to be out again. Northern Illinois obviously upset Notre Dame, then comes back and lays a turd at home. They're on the road again. NC State favored by a touchdown. We don't have a play in this game. If we did, it would probably be leaning towards the NC State side of laying that touchdown. Next game up, UAB, Navy, also at that noon window. Navy laying 3.5 at UAB. Both of these teams, when you're looking at power rankings, are relatively close, and I'm going to get 3.5 and be the home team. Well, that's why we liked UAB in this particular spot. It's going to be a tough game. I do expect this thing to be close all the way throughout. Give us UAB plus a half first quarter, plus 2.5 first half, and plus 3.5 for the game. Next game up, Buffalo, UConn. This line's gotten a little crazy, noon Eastern as well. UConn has actually played pretty well. I can't believe this line's already up to 6. Buffalo is not that horrible. Now, they have struggled to score against some of the better teams that they played. 6-point line is what this thing has moved to. We do like UConn, but I will, we got it at 5.5. We thought we might have caught it late, but we do like UConn in this spot. UConn minus a half first quarter, minus 3.5 first half, and minus 5.5 for the game. Next game up, South Florida, Tulane. Tulane, if it wasn't for the fact they've got a young quarterback back there, but would probably be a 2-touchdown favorite in this one. They played Kansas State tough. They covered there. They played Oklahoma really tough, covered there. Now they get a home game, and they're favored by 5 here against South Florida. South Florida's one claim to fame this season. They played Alabama tough for 3 quarters. Other than that, nothing really much going on for there. We like Tulane in this matchup, as we're all over Tulane. And we actually got this thing at, 6.5. And we still liked it at the 6.5. It's down to 5 at some books. So congratulations, you'll get it even cheaper. Tulane minus 1.5 first quarter, minus 3.5 first half, and minus 6.5 for the game. Next game up, Holy Cross, Syracuse. If somebody can please explain to me what the hell happened to Syracuse last week when they lost to Stanford at home. Besides Kyle McCord sucked and their defense couldn't stop anybody. They're 28.5-point favorite here against Holy Cross. The last of the noon window games, Eastern, they should cover this, but we're nowhere near for us to put any money behind it. So in that one there. Now we're going to 1:30 Eastern game. Ball State, James Madison. So if you watched James Madison last week, they scored 70 against North Carolina. Ball State coming to town. Hopefully there's not too much of a letdown here. The point spread right around 20. This thing's moved from 19 to 20.5. We did grab it when it opened at 19. We do like James Madison in this spot. Minus 6.5 first quarter, minus 10.5 first half, and minus 19 for the game. Next game up, 3 o'clock Eastern time, Texas State, Sam Houston. Sam Houston getting 9.5 at home. Texas State, much better team here. We did not play this one, but I'll be really honest, the only reason that Sam Houston's played pretty well so far this season, but Texas State, if they wouldn't have lost that game to Arizona State, really I thought had a chance to make the college football playoff, sneaking in maybe at the 12 spot and to be a non-Power 5 school. But don't have a play in this particular game for you. But if we were playing it, we would be with Texas State in that particular one. Then we get to the 3:30 Eastern window times. Wisconsin on the road at USC. All right, so USC obviously brain cramp at Michigan. Should have easily won that game if it wasn't for the pick 6. They held Michigan down. Couldn't stop them late on the run. But this game here, they should be able to dominate Wisconsin, as Wisconsin and Luke Farrell going through the transition. They also lose their quarterback as well. This line's moved from 14 to 15.5. It's getting close to danger zone where I wouldn't play it, but probably still play it until we get to 16, and then that's where it probably stops. We did play USC here, minus 4.5 first quarter, minus 7.5 first half, and minus 14 for the game. Next game up, that 3:30 Eastern window as well. Notre Dame in Louisville. Notre Dame, this line has moved. This line was 4.5 a couple days ago, now all the way up to 7 in this one here. Total at 46. We do like Notre Dame here. The 7 kind of scares us just a shade, but we do think they'll be able to handle Louisville. They have looked better. Maybe they've got everything put together, but we did play Notre Dame -1.5 first quarter, -3.5 first half, and -4.5 for the game in that one. Also, 3:30 window, Oklahoma with the new starting quarterback. Auburn, who the hell do you play here? I do know this. The Oklahoma defense is good, does turn it over. Auburn, who knows who the heck they are. They're starting another quarterback as well. Who knows what we're going to see out of either side in this particular one here. The one thing that we do like in this game is the under. The under has gotten bet down from 47.5, though, to 45. It's getting close to that zone where I probably wouldn't play it, but we'll give you the bets that we do have here. Oklahoma, Auburn, under 9.5 first quarter, under 23.5 first half, and under 47.5 of the game. Both teams playing new quarterbacks. Next game up, Colorado, UCF. And probably people are going to the window, and they know who Colorado is, obviously because of primetime, right? They don't know who UCF is. I'm going to tell you UCF is an extremely good offense. Defense can be a little in between. They are a better team than Colorado. They're a 2-touchdown favorite with Colorado coming to town, and we'll lay the points with UCF. We've been looking at this game actually for like a couple of weeks. The line moved from 13 and a hook to the 14, but give us UCF at home -4.5 in the first quarter, 7.5 first half, and 13.5 for the game. Next game up, 12:30 out here in Phoenix, 3:30 Eastern time. We're still in that same window. A&M, 5.5 point favorite at home against Arkansas, 52.5. This one's a tough one for me here. Arkansas's played tough in some games, so it would not surprise me if they cover. A&M is a slightly better team here, and they're at home, though. If we don't have anything in this game, but if we had to play it, it would be A&M. Next game up, UNLV, undefeated UNLV, at home, Fresno State. Obviously, the big news this week with UNLV, starting quarterback's going to sit out the rest of the season because he didn't get his money, the $100,000 on the NIL collective. They were a 3.5 point favorite. It's down to 2.5. We still like UNLV's team overall better than Fresno. I can't believe that's I understand the quarterback issue, but this is still a low number. So give us UNLV here. That's who we played. UNLV -0.5 first quarter, -2.5 in the first half, and -3.5 for the game. Next game up, TCU and Kansas. Also that 3:30 Eastern time window. TCU is okay. Kansas has had a really shitty start. They should have won the game last week against West Virginia. They ended up giving that thing up late. They should have beat UNLV at home. Too many turnovers. And the same thing at Illinois. The last 3, they've lost 3 in a row after winning their opener. They should have won. They had opportunities to win the last 3. They could be 4-0, and this line would be double digits. They're a good team. TCU is definitely not anywhere near them. Kansas should be in this 4.5 point favorite at a minimum, I think, in this game, and they're only at 2. So great time to pick up, to buy low on Kansas. Give us Kansas -0.5 first quarter, -0.5 in the first half, and we took them at -1.5 for the game. Next game up, UMass, Miami, Ohio. UMass is one of the worst teams out there in college football. Miami of Ohio should stomp them. They're 17 point favorite, 45 total. We didn't play anything in this particular one here, but we would lean Miami of Ohio. Akron and Ohio here in the next matchup. Ohio laying 10 at home against Akron. The only way you probably want to play this one is if you know one of the teams really well. We lean towards Ohio here, but not good enough for us to play it in this one. Also that 3:30 window, Eastern Michigan, Kent State. Eastern Michigan was big for us last week. This week, they got a tough one, right? So Eastern Michigan, they're a 14 point favorite on the road at Kent State, but they sometimes can struggle at Kent State. We don't have a play in it, but we would lean Kent State at home, getting the 2 touchdowns if we were playing it. Liberty and Appalachian State. 3:30 Eastern time. Liberty has been a non-cover machine like they were. They're still undefeated, but last year, man, they were fantastic. This year, they have struggled. They're a 3.5 point favorite at App State. App State got their ass handed to them by South Alabama last time out. Liberty has not looked that good. So Liberty's only a 3.5-point favorite here. We don't have a play. If teams play up to their potential here, Liberty wins this thing by 2 touchdowns. But the question is what are we going to see from them? So we stayed away from that one. Next game up, Georgia State, Georgia Southern. This game at Georgia State. So this line was a pick'em. Now all of a sudden Georgia State's up to 3.5. Nothing in this game we particularly like, so we did stay away from it. But we would lean Georgia State in this particular case there as well. Also that 3:30 window, Western Michigan and Marshall. So if you watched Marshall at all this season, all you've seen them do is really get their butt handed to them, right? But this game here, though, I think they got enough firepower to get this thing done against Western Michigan and Kalamazoo. This line has moved from 3.5 to 4 at some books, but we did take Marshall minus 1.5 in the first quarter, 2.5 in the first half, and 3.5 for the game. Next game up, San Diego State, Central Michigan. Another tough game here. Central Michigan did win last week, didn't cover. San Diego State going on the road to Michigan. This is just a home field advantage here, and only 2.5-point favorite. And if you put these teams on a neutral field, I think Central Michigan is the better team here, and they're only giving up 2.5 at home, so we took them there. So we'll give you the bets here for Central Michigan. -0.5 first quarter, 1.5 first half, and 2.5 for the game there. Next game up, Louisiana, Lake Forest. Also that 3:30 window. Wake Forest at home laying 3.5. I would not be shocked here if Louisiana wins this game outright. They're a pretty solid football club. Wake Forest has been okay. Nothing really to write home about. Kind of ho-hum of the ACC. We don't have a play in it, but if we did, we would lean Louisiana plus the points. 1 o'clock out here in Phoenix, 4 o'clock Eastern time. We've got a few games here. North Carolina and Duke. Duke at home, favored by 2.5. North Carolina coming off that embarrassing loss against James Madison, getting blown out. Now, I know the game was only like 20-point win for Madison, but they were up 30, 40 points in that game quite a bit. Nothing in this game for us here. We would lean slightly towards Duke. Also, that same time, 4 o'clock Eastern window, UTSA, East Carolina. East Carolina, pretty good ball club. UTSA has been a little disappointing, to say the least, so far. In this one here, we would actually lean towards the over 55.5 total in this one. Maybe stay away from the side. 4:15 Eastern time. Mississippi State, Texas. So if Mississippi State falls down here, like gets down early, they could lose this game by 70. They're just, I don't know what to tell you. They couldn't keep up with Florida last week. They're on the road this week. 38-point favorite for Texas. Don't know who's starting up between Arch and Quinn. They should probably let Quinn rest up another week because Arch Manning can roll with this team here. We would lean Texas minus the 38 at home there. 5 o'clock Eastern window. Old Dominion, Bowling Green. We really wanted to play Bowling Green here, but this line's gotten to 10, so we're going to stay away from this thing. But we would lean Bowling Green in this particular game for you there. Next game up, 6 o'clock Eastern window. Louisiana Tech, FIU. This is another game where I think the home team's getting a little bit of the raw stick here. FIU is a pretty solid team in this one. This line stayed pretty consistent as well, but we like FIU at home. We think they're going to win the game outright, so we'll take the points. FIU plus 0.5 in the first quarter, plus 0.5 in the first half, and plus 2.5 for the game. Next game up, also 6 o'clock Eastern, UT Martin and Kennesaw State. Save yourself the time, folks. Just skip this game. This game should be a slugfest back and forth, total of 45.5, but no real wager in that one. Same thing for Wagner and Florida and FAU. FAU is a 31.5-point favorite here. They should beat Wagner by 40. Total's at 49, so if you want to play something, maybe play the over in that one. So now we get to the 7 o'clock Eastern game, Stanford and Clemson. Stanford played a heck of a game on the road, actually got the win at Syracuse. Clemson comes off a drubbing. I think Clemson's a little over, the line's a little hyped for Clemson here. We don't have a play in it. 21.5 is too much. If this thing was 17, we would have hopped probably on Clemson. So I would recommend just watch out for those points there. Maybe play a teaser on this one and bring Clemson down to 15.5 or something to that effect. But staying away from that one. And 7 o'clock Eastern, Iowa State and Houston. Cyclones playing well, playing really well under Matt Campbell again. This Matt Campbell needs to get his credit. He's a damn good coach, right? I mean, that's what it boils down to. He's just a good coach. 16-point favorite. We didn't play it, but it'd be one of those again where we probably have to play the road team here with State and lay the points. 7 o'clock Eastern, we've got, Charlotte and Rice. Rice has been god-awful, got just destroyed by Army. Charlotte's been even worse. That's why Rice is laying 6.5 at home. 47.5 total in this one. No play for you here either. We didn't bet it. We would play Rice, though, minus the points. ULM and Troy. Should be a pretty good game. Troy favored by a touchdown here. Troy's been disappointing, to say the least. But we're stayed away from that one as well. If we had to play it, we would probably play ULM plus the 7. And 7 o'clock Eastern window, Tulsa, North Texas. North Texas at home, favored by a touchdown. Total right now sits at 68. It has come down just a shade. We actually like the over at 68.5, so we'll give you the plays here. Tulsa, North Texas over 14.5 first quarter, 33.5 first half, and 68.5 for the game. Would not be shocked in the least if this game reaches the 80s. All right, next game up, the game of the weekend, number 4 and number 2, Georgia and Alabama. This line keeps moving around, folks, so if you find something you like, just go ahead and bet it. Alabama is now down to a 1-point dog at home, 49.5 total. The total did open up at 51. Georgia's offense has definitely been a struggle so far for them. The area they struggle in the most is actually Alabama's probably weakest end, and that's the defensive secondary on the pass defense. Alabama is good against the run. Alabama should be able to move the ball on the Georgia offense, but Georgia's got but Georgia's still got a really solid defense. We actually have multiple plays for you in this game. We took Bama when they got to 2.5, so we'll give you those first. Bama plus a half first quarter, plus a half first half, and plus 2.5 for the game. We also like the under 51. It's getting close. Like, if that thing hits 49, it's not a play anymore, but at 49.5, I'd still play the under. Georgia-Bama under 10.5 first quarter, under 24.5 first half, and under 51 for the game. There should be a lot of running in that thing. Next game up, also same time slot, Illinois-Penn State, the Big Ten game of the week at that one. So let's be honest here. Penn State's a better team, but Illinois has a quarterback and might be able to keep this thing close. No bets for us in this one here. If we had to do anything, though, it would be Illinois plus the 18. Next game up, Ohio State and Michigan State. We really want to play Michigan State here, but unfortunately they're too bad to play, so we can't play Michigan State. I mean, they're just god-awful here. They're getting 23.5 at home. It's not enough. We'll see if Will Howard can make this Ohio State offense click. They didn't cover again last week, but we would take Michigan State plus the 23.5 if we were playing that one. Still at that 7:30 Eastern window, Memphis and Middle Tennessee. Memphis, a 25.5-point favorite. Obviously, they've had some big wins this year. Middle Tennessee's been disappointing, turning the ball over way too much. Nothing in for it for this one here, but we would lay the points with Memphis. Next game up, 7:45 Eastern time. LSU, South Alabama. Nothing for us in this game either. LSU, 20.5-point favorite, 65 total. If we were going to play anything, though, it would be the over, as I think both teams will be able to score. Would not surprise me if we see something like 42-30 something. In this particular game, South Alabama covers the points, and the game goes well over. Next game up, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Florida State, SMU in Dallas, Fort Worth. SMU, ever since bringing the new quarterback on and giving him the job, they have been very good. The line's moved from 5.5 to 6.5. But we do like SMU, as Florida State with DJU has shown they are just god-awful, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So SMU minus a half first quarter, minus 3.5 first half, and minus 5.5 for the game in that one. Cincinnati, Texas Tech. So Tech let us down a little bit last week as they couldn't put the ball in the end zone against Arizona State. Same thing might happen here with Cincinnati. They have another home game. They have another Big 12 game. They should be able to win, though. 3.5-point favorite, 58.5 total. Nothing for us in this one. If we had to play, we'd be leaning Texas Tech in that one. 8 o'clock Eastern as well. Wyoming at home, getting 4 from Air Force. Total of 34. Wyoming is normally pretty good at home. We don't have a play here either. If we were going to play this thing, it actually would be Wyoming plus the points at home, as they've been normally pretty solid at home. for a lot of years. And 8 o'clock Eastern time, New Mexico, New Mexico State. The Battle of the New Mexicos. New Mexico State getting 9 at home, 54.5 total. We don't have a play here yet either, but we would be leaning to that over 54.5. Now we get to the late games, right? Boise State, 10 o'clock Eastern time, 6.5 point favorite over Washington State. So Washington State's playoffs, they got a big win against, big win against Washington, all that kind of fun stuff, right? So, I mean, Boise State, they can run the ball. They're not even playing their best quarterback. They do have the youngster Micaiah Nelson, but he's not even playing. Nothing for us in this particular matchup. We would lean. We do have a play. I apologize about that. Washington State on the road, a little nervous about them, so we do like Boise here at home on the Smurf turf. Boise minus 1.5 in the first quarter, minus 4.5 in the first half, minus 6.5 for the game. Next game up, 11 o'clock Eastern time. Oregon, UCLA. This line's moved from 24 to 25.5 as this thing gets out of control. Oregon, I expect this is the week where they kind of show. I mean, they did it against Oregon State in the second half. I think they're a little bit more dominant from the front to the start to the back on this one. The line's getting up there. I'm still okay at the 25.5 if you want to play it, but we did get it at 24. Oregon minus 6.5 in the first quarter, 13.5 in the first half, and 24 for the game. All right, so we just went through a ton of bets. I think we went through what? Speaking of which, how long have we been separated? We went through what, about 70 bets there. How do you get a chance to take a look at all of those? No problem at all. You can find them in multiple spots online, TikTok and YouTube channel pages as well at the end of every episode on YouTube. It is docs.google.com/spreadsheet, bunch of other stuff behind it. Click on that link. Go to Football 24-25 tab. That's for the Football 24-25 season. Once you get there, scroll down to College Football Week 5. You'll be able to see all the bets we made, what juice we got those at, how many units we wagered, also what book we placed them at. So make sure you do check that out when you get some time. Also, you like the content that you're seeing here and want to see some more, just hit follow or subscribe depending on the social media platform you're watching us on. And we'll show up in your followers subscriptions tab. And if you want to make life a little bit easier than that, just turn the notifications on for that social media platform, and you'll get a notification when we drop a new episode of Bets. Also, private Discord channel is available for you. Discord channel last week, football-wise, absolutely raked. And Thursday this week, Thursday NFL and college, they also raked. If you want to be part of the action, make some money, and save some money all at the same time, choose a subscription plan on TikTok. One at $6, $10, and $25 a month, depending on how much access you want to the Discord. On that one there, make your choice, and then from there, all you have to, we will send you a link for the Discord channel itself. You'll be able to get all of those. Also, discussions going on a lot of different plays. There's also a couple other peeps that put in some plays as well. Especially on the football side, and then also some UFC stuff as well, besides myself, so you get multiple cappers on there. But definitely you got a chance to make some additional money by not spending much money at all. We're cheaper than Netflix, folks, so might as well get on there. Save some money. You'll save that in just juice by taking the bets when we do, because we watch those things constantly. And not only that, you'll also make more money as well. Also, we have tons of promo bonus bets to give away from our partners to you. We're in 49 out of the 50 states. The only one we're not in is Nevada. We have online casinos, sports books, and also fantasy sites as well, where you can make player props if you're in the state that doesn't allow sports books. So all kinds of options to take advantage of their money instead of yours. You can also find it on YouTube and TikTok channel pages. The link is bit.ly/sportsbetsforfree-bh. Once you click on that link, it'll automatically default to the state that you're in and show you all the available options that we have. We do appreciate everybody's support as always, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.